Hi, this trainer tip is prepping for training. There's many ways to prepare for a training. We're going to talk about a layered approach involving 3 different training considerations and show you some pictures of how my colleague Melissa and I prep for training. The foundational layer is content fluency. If you are a new trainer, focus your prep time here. We want to prepare by first making sure that we have solid knowledge of the content, including the concepts, science, or implementation steps that are in the content that we are teaching others. We also want to anticipate questions that might be asked and prepare our responses. One way to prep is to write down keywords that prompt us to the main points in order to help keep us on track. Here we can see Melissa wanted to remind herself that the concept on this slide was really about telling isn't teaching, told isn't taught. On this slide, I anticipated questions about which critical features were the most important, and I wrote non-negotiables as a reminder to address that question before it was asked. Another important part of the content fluency layer is knowing where you are heading, like outcomes, and what the big ideas are. This way it keeps you focused and you are better able to make adjustments for time without compromising the purpose of the training. For example, if I'm training on the foundations of PBIS, I know that my outcome is for the group to learn that we need to strengthen foundational practices in order to have individualized supports be more effective. In this module, I would memorize the components in the content. First, I'm setting the stage, then I'm talking about what PBIS is, then high-yield classroom practices, and then I'm connecting these Tier 1 practices to universal supports for individual students. Knowing this helps me stay on track. Okay, the next layer is content design and delivery. Here we are focused on adding relevant examples and stories to bring concepts to life. We also want to make sure we understand the purpose by design of each activity in the content and plan our behavior during team times and breaks. I added notes here to prompt stories that I could use to enhance the example of breakout room procedures in the content, and here I wrote example to prompt me to show another example of school-wide behavior scripts. Melissa made some notes to remind her of the purpose of this activity, and she highlighted a couple of points in the trainer notes. No one wants to engage in activities that seem like busy work, and if trainers aren't sure of the purpose of the activity, we often hear them say, START wants us to, or the My MTSS TA Center expects that I will have you do whatever. Knowing the purpose and being confident about the activity designed in the content is critical to having participants engage in the activity. And lastly, team time is a great time to follow Dr. Anita Archer's advice of walk around, look around, talk around. This helps you know if there's anything you would need to clarify or reteach for the good of the group and builds rapport. And the last layer of prep is active engagement. Active engagement, specifically opportunities to respond, is when we have participants do something, say something, or write something. This layer is about engagement strategies that are above and beyond what is designed in the content. This involves both planning ahead of time for specific slides and strategies ready to go when you read the room and discover that engagement is needed. Melissa and I have done this in multiple ways. For this training, she is using pink marker through her printout as she preps to signal her to add active engagement. You can see that she added active engagement when presenting the agenda by planning to have participants give a thumbs up in response to her question. Where you see pink are other places she is planning for active engagement. We have a close read and then have participants writing something down. Here is another example in which Melissa used yellow highlights when adding in planned active engagement, in this case a yes/no in chat and a rating system in chat. This one shows one example of my prepping, and I highlighted in yellow my planned additional opportunities to respond. I added an agree, disagree, and why, and a chat box response to a question above and beyond the activities in the content. To pull it all together, this last example is a snapshot of all 3 layers of prep in a portion of training slides. My content fluency prep includes notes to respond to anticipated questions before they occur, and stars and underlining to prompt me to focus on key concepts. My content design and delivery prep is shown in the notes I made about stories and examples I can add, and reminders about the purpose of activities for myself. The yellow highlighting shows my 3rd layer of prep, adding those additional opportunities to respond for active engagement. If you really want to improve your rate of active engagement activities by increasing your opportunities for your participants to respond, consider tracking your data on an app like the free Be Positive app. I use this a lot and even ask others to collect this data on me when I train. And there you have it, 3 layers of preparation for training. I hope you found this helpful.